It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. Steve likes the weed.
Steve likes the weed.
Tell you about DMT.
The DMT.
Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Hoosiers with the dream, sophisticated blasphemy. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. So let's set our minds free for the singularity. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show.
Hello and welcome to the Evolution Mag Stay-at-Home Grow series. I'm Steve Elgin. I'm going to introduce this guy in a moment, but I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for tuning in. Tonight you're going to learn about hydro, and you're going to learn about it real well. We'll be taking questions during this thing the whole time, but actually got to say a special thank you to Clay Stallings for being the mastermind behind all this. I know we want to give the weed media, the BT media, what we call ourselves, us, Nate, Lance, we got Chris Smith, Evolution Mag, we got everybody. But Clay, you're the mastermind and we thank you for this. And he also gave me a script to read because he doesn't think I can come up with good words on my own. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. We got Craig here is also, he's running the behind the scenes. So if, the text box off, he should probably fix the text box, maybe make it smaller and, just fix it, Craig. So here we go. Hello, Missouri cannabis friends and family. We are the Hoosier Sophisticates, and this is episode 4 of the Stay-at-Home Grow series. We are shooting live from the Hoosier studio in St. Louis, Missouri, with GrowActive Solutions manager, Beau Bradley. Hold for applause. Okay, there we go. Who in a few minutes will be breaking down Hydroponics 101. Like always, we will be taking questions through the show. So feel free to submit your questions the whole time. We will have a chat box as soon as Craig figures out where to put the chat box. Maybe he moves it down to the bottom. Okay, well, we'll get to that. But you can ask your questions, please. This guy knows. If you have questions about hydro and growing in general, bring them. Because we got him here. Let's ask him the questions. Let's learn. As many of you know by now, the coronavirus is delaying Missouri's cannabis industry rollout, with September most likely being the earliest we will see product available, and it will be scarce and limited. Sounds like Clay is trying to scare tactic everyone. So now's the perfect time to start growing your own medicine at home. I do believe in that, because the stuff I've seen people growing at home. Need help finding a patient caregiver? Make a comment on the feed, or if you would like to be more discreet, you can email the Evolution Magazine for assistance, and we will connect you with someone who can help. I also want to give out a shout out to last week's prize winner, because we're giving stuff away. And this is part of the giveaway?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
We're giving stuff away. Joshua Lee Smith took home a Fox Farm Dirty Dozen Nutrient Starter Kit, a Fox Farm bag of ocean forest soil, and a free MMJ certification from Green Pot Clinic and Mo Grow Solutions. Make sure you tune in until the end of today's show to learn how you can enter this week's giveaway for a house and garden nutrient starter kit, compliments of GrowActive Solutions. Lastly, thanks again to all of our sponsors and network affiliates for helping us put on this whole series. It's amazing what can happen when we all come together as a cannabis community. So thank you for all your continued support. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, how about a warm round of applause for today's teacher, live from the Mycelial Media Studios and presented by Sweet Leaf Studios. That's one of Beau Bradley.
Thank you.
Was that good enough for you, Clay? You wrote some beautiful words. Beau, take it away, brother. What do you want us to know about Hydro 101?
So, I mean, really, I just want to go over the basics. Because hydroponics is a very, there's just a lot of information out there. There's a million and one ways to do things. So I just want to boil it down to the extreme basics of what hydroponics is and just some systems.
Awesome.
And so, number one, hydroponics is just growing plants in water and not soil.
You don't need any soil.
No.
Can any plant be grown hydroponically?
Yes, basically.
It's blowing my mind over here. I love science because there's a lot of, I call them weed nerds, you know what I mean, out there who are figuring out the fine-tuned science of it. I only know of hydro from 90s rap songs.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
Okay. So, like you said, you don't need the soil, right?
Okay.
So what we do is we put a nutrient solution into the water, which basically becomes the liquid soil. So it has all the fertilizers, so it has all the macronutrients and micronutrients, and I'll go over some of what those are a little bit later. So it has all of those and all of your trace elements. So it basically has everything that would be in the soil in an ideal condition. And it's delivered right to the roots of the plants. So the plant doesn't need to spend a lot of energy and time growing downward and creating roots so that it can search and find the water and find these nutrients. It can grow up, producing faster growth times, larger harvests, and the plant just grows more efficiently.
Is it better than soil?
So there's that's an age-old, back and forth. So better is a relative term, right? So I've seen hydroponics that definitely are better than soil, but it really depends on the grower.
Gotcha.
It depends on how tedious you are with your cleanliness, knowing what your plants need. One of the downsides to hydroponics, we can just knock one of those out right away, is just that everything happens much faster. So if you miss a beat, that plant is going to, it's going to sacrifice that much faster. It's going to start to, if it goes without water, it's going to wilt that much faster because it's growing in just water, right? It doesn't have any buffers, which is what the soil would be to kind of buy you some time. So you gotta be a little bit more on point with hydroponics.
Okay.
Than what you do with soil. Soil is just a little bit more forgiving.
Does it grow faster? Because it, since it dies faster, problems happen faster. Does hydro grow faster?
Yes. Hydroponics can grow anywhere from 2 to 5 times faster than soil, depending on the types of hydroponics that you use. Now, with that, that's growing.
Okay.
Right? A flowering stage is a genetic code. Right, so there's no way to really increase your flowering time. So it's not like you can take a 10-week strain, grow it aeroponically, and it'll be done in 2. It's not 5 times faster to a harvest, but your plant will physically grow faster. So, when you're in your vegetative state, before you go into your flowering period, if you want to get to a certain height, before you flip your plants over, you will get to that height faster. Now, you could finish up a couple days faster with hydroponics, in your bloom stage, but generally, that's still a genetic code. An 8-week plant still takes 8 weeks to bloom and to come to its full ripening and time for harvest.
Okay. Are there other benefits of hydro? What are the pros and cons between hydro and soil?
So hydroponics uses actually less water, if you can imagine that. So in an ideal situation, when you really have your garden really tuned in, you can grow your plants with less water than what you can in soil because you're not dealing with evaporation rates. So when the sun or your grow lights are beating on your soil containers, there's moisture inside of that soil, which is now being evaporated and also becoming humidity in your grow room as well. Where in a sealed hydroponic system, if you have covers over your reservoirs and you don't have a whole lot of growing medium exposed to either the sun or your grow lights inside, then you're going to get less evaporation. So really also that's why a lot of commercial agriculture is done hydroponically. So
Okay.
when you're dealing with, say just like a tomato greenhouse,
Yeah.
That much soil that they would need and the amount of water that they would need to saturate that soil, rather than just delivering that water directly to the roots, they're actually able to save, a huge percentage actually of their water usage. So it also can be better environmentally.
Okay, that makes sense.
Definitely.
Less water here. Oh, and you're growing on a mass scale too. That's totally scalable. I mean, that's one thing I didn't understand. Now, the nutrients you add to the water, are those similar to nutrients you would add to soil, or is it a whole different type of thing going on there?
No, they're very similar. So really, even so, like if you were to come to GrowActive,
Okay.
right, and you're to buy nutrients, 9 out of 10 of those nutrients are good for soil or hydroponics. So you can always use hydroponic fertilizers in soil. What hydroponic fertilizer means is that it has all of the macronutrients, micronutrients, and trace elements. So it has everything that the soil would have. So you can always use hydroponic nutrients in soil. Just vice versa, you can't always use soil nutrients hydroponically.
Okay. How about pest situation? I feel like when I knew people that tried to grow in their closet, a lot of pests kind of hung out in the dirt, and I was like, well, they're probably living in there and on the plant. I was like, with it being encapsulated, does that help with pests at all?
Yes. So one of the things when people grow inside, number one, anytime that you're going to be using a growing medium, like in a container, whether it be soil or cocoa, a mixture of the two, you're creating a warm, wet environment that they just want to go to. That's their idea.
We all just want to go to warm, wet environments. You know what I mean?
Yes. And so you're just creating the perfect home for them. And so with that, if you can take away that covering of the growing medium, then they have less places to live, less places to breed, and so you're not dealing with as many outbreaks, from soil-borne pests.
You hear that?
Also, soil-borne diseases as well. So
Okay.
you don't have
That's
to worry
awesome.
about those.
How about I want to grow. I walk into GrowActive Solutions down in Tower Grove Southeast. Where is it?
It's on Tower Grove.
Yeah,
Tower Grand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grand. I walk in there. What's the process look like? I want to grow hydroponically.
So, really, number one, I like to custom make systems to what you want to do, because that's kind of the nice thing about hydroponics. It really can be tailored and should be tailored to, number one, to the grower, and number two, the type of crop that you want to grow.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to be talking about cannabis.
Yes.
Right? So you generally wouldn't want to grow cannabis in certain types of systems. You wouldn't grow cannabis in the same system that you would be growing like lettuces in. Or microgreens. So you really got to custom make that to the type of plant. Then the other thing is to the grower. So are you do you have any type of medical issues? Can you not be bending over and carrying all this water? Because that's also one of the downsides now about hydroponics and for the medical community is that you really have to be carrying a whole lot of water around, or you got to have pumps and this, that, and the other thing, right?
Yeah.
So it really just depends on the person, their space, and their environment. That's how we really create the best hydroponic systems.
All right.
I did bring some slides of some systems that I can show you if you.
I will happily pull those up. We do have a couple of questions, and maybe maybe you want to hit those slides first. But Herb asks, how often should you drain, clean, and refill your hydro reservoir?
So that is something that really is a personal preference. What I personally say is once a week. Once a week is really the best time to be switching out those nutrients and making sure that your nutrient strength is still correct, that your pH is still in line, and just making sure that everything is fresh and not sitting there stale. Now, you can run hydroponic systems for, I know people who run them for 2 weeks or run them until they're completely, completely empty. And then we'll refill them. So it really is a personal preference, but in most gardens that are doing hydroponics at a high, high level, they would be cleaning out and draining and refilling their reservoirs once a week.
Are there any sort of like fish tank filtration systems that kind of do that for you, where they're kind of moving water around or anything like that?
There is. But with that, then you're talking about, then you got to have stuff to mix your nutrients, and there's a whole lot of stuff that then kind of goes into
That's
it.
true. Filter those out too.
It looks like there was a couple more just kind of
Sure.
building off of that. Building off the water reservoir. How often should you clean or replace your water lines?
So, I mean, that is going to depend on the nutrients that you use. So, number one is, there's all different qualities of nutrients out there. Companies do not use the same quality.
Is this a huge industry, the nutrient industry?
Oh, yes.
Because it seems the more I learn about it, the more it's never ending with products you can use.
Yes, absolutely. And so high-end nutrients, should be clean and shouldn't leave like residues and stuff like that behind. We're going to be giving away like the House and Garden starter pack. In here, there's a product called Drip Clean that you add it at 4 drops a gallon, and it makes sure that you never have any salt buildup in your pumps, in your watering lines, in your medium, anything. So with that product alone can save you from changing out watering lines, for a couple runs, as long as you're keeping everything clean. So a lot of it goes into the nutrients that you're using and the quality of those nutrients, and not everything is made the same. And then also your hygiene, just how clean are you in your garden?
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
clean are you as a human being in your? So if you go in there like a filthy animal,
Yep.
dang, that's okay.
So, if you
Wash
got-
your hands, people. Come on.
Well, if you got coconut, or like if you got, growing medium all over the place, and
Sure.
that's circling back down into your reservoir and going through your drain systems and stuff like that, right? Depending on what type of products that you're using. Are you using, beneficial, like an inoculant? Are you using mycorrhizae? Are you using beneficial bacterias? At what, again, what is the solubility of those? How well are those mixing into your water? Do you have a whole lot of particulate just sitting in the bottom of your res that's now just building up in your lines? So,
Do you?
not to kind of, go off on a tangent there, but there really is no good answer to that question.
But you're saying it's more preventative? You can be
Yes.
more, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about being preventative. Really, just like everything in the garden.
Gotcha.
All right, one last question here that's a little bit more, a little broader. I've heard that with hydro, if one plant gets infected, it will pass it on to all the other plants, therefore ruining the whole lot of plants. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a bummer. So if it's in the roots, it's in all of them, or how does that work? If it's in the water, I guess it's in all of them?
Yes. So you take something like Pythium, and Pythium is a very common, root disease. Pythium can occur anytime that your reservoir hits 70 degrees or higher. And a lot of people in a growing environment, in like a grow tent, when your lights are on and you're trying to keep your room at 75, 78 degrees, then it's hard to keep that reservoir that's in there under 70.
How do you do that? Ice
chillers.
cubes? Can you put some ice cubes in there? A little margarita? Make a little root margarita in there.
Or
you
you
know?
can try and keep your reservoirs outside of your room.
Oh.
So there's a whole bunch of different ways
okay.
to kind of go on, how to prevent that. Again, prevention is really everything.
Gotcha.
An ounce of prevention goes a long way. But so yes, you take something like Pythium. That's going to be in your reservoir, that's in your water, and that can be spread from plant to plant. And so again, it really is just about how clean you are, how much you're in your garden to look at these things to make sure that you're being preventative, and just knowing what you're going to be running into. But there's also different ways of dealing with things. There's different products that can help you fight against that kind of stuff. But you got to know what you're looking at, number one, in order to, kind of diagnose that stuff. But you can definitely save your crop. But yes, if you're having a shared reservoir, then all of your plants are sharing that water. And if you have some type of fungal or bacterial, going on, or some type of disease going on in there, then yes, it can pass from plant to plant.
And is that where, like, could someone call you guys and be like, hey, bud, I think I got this going on, and you guys would lead them in the right direction?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you guys have Instagram. They can probably get a hold of you on Instagram.
Yes.
And okay, we'll go over all those two GrowActive solutions on Instagram. I was looking at his Instagram earlier. Awesome. So that's what it's all about, spreading the knowledge. We got some slides here. We got them on the back TV. You can go ahead and throw them on full screen.
For
if
sure,
you want
yeah.
to.
Just wanted to introduce the ebb and flow system. I guess have you talk about that. That's your first one going on here. I'll give them a better picture to look at up here, and we'll go from there.
Definitely. So, I wanted to show off some different types of systems, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea of what different types of systems are. So the ebb and flow system is actually a very popular and very old school way of growing cannabis. So you have a flood table up top, which is just basically just a flat tray that the plants sit in. Usually they would be in containers inside of that tray, or you can use it as like a whole garden and fill it up with medium and plant right into it. But you have a reservoir that's down below and just a simple water pump that pumps water up into the tray, and then once the water reaches this overflow point, it's just going to fall right back down into the reservoir. So this is a active hydroponic system. So out there's two different kinds of hydroponic systems when it gets down to it. There's active systems and there's passive systems. Active systems are active; they're moving water, right? Passive systems do not. So this is
So your plants would be up in this area.
Yes.
And then you could keep this at a lower temperature probably because it's further away.
Yes.
I'm learning something today, bud.
Definitely. So this is a very, very common hydroponic system again, and a lot of people nowadays are also using this type of system to kind of build off of. So later I'll go over like a top drip system. And a lot of people are really doing those now in ebb and flow tables because it just has everything contained, and you can use little pumps, and it's not a whole lot to manage.
How big is everything here? What are the dimensions? And it varies?
Yes.
Okay.
So it really varies. So I have ebb and flow tables at the store that are 2 foot by 2 foot.
Okay.
All the way up to 4 foot by 8 foot tables.
Okay.
And then you can get into commercial size stuff where the tables are sliding back and forth and they're 50 foot long. Oh yeah.
Okay, so then are you going to have any problems with nutrients messing with your pump? And, because pumps are made to probably just pump regular water and maybe nothing else.
So all hydroponic nutrients should be water soluble.
Okay.
So they're just going to mix right in. So no,
Perfect.
the pumps do not have any issues pumping the nutrients because they're already in a water base.
Awesome.
Now, with that, again, it comes cleanliness of those nutrients. So you can have salt buildup in your pump, especially if you're letting it run dry or the quality of your nutrients, aren't there or aren't top notch.
Okay.
Then you can have salt buildup, and that can wreak havoc on your pump. But no, the nutrients will not mess with that.
I like that little system. That baby's probably been around since, before they knew how to have electric pumps, that kind of system.
Absolutely.
Little
I know
vacuum
it looks like,
action,
yeah,
sure.
that's amazing.
Somebody asked if they were growing in soil and they wanted to switch over. What's the typical entry price point that they could start growing hydroponically?
So again, that really comes down to system. One of my favorite systems, and I actually should have brought just like a version of it because
We got a couple
have
more
the
of these.
slides
We
for
can
it.
bring them for the next one.
Yeah. But there's actually this really cool. It's a top drip system that just runs in a 5-gallon bucket. It's only a couple bucks really to put together. Like I think that you can start off with one of these systems and put it together for maybe $50 or so.
Okay.
So really, you can. That's a great thing about hydroponics. Hydroponics is really DIY, right? So somebody who really knows, or not even really knows, but somebody who's interested in doing things themselves and doing DIY projects can really make this stuff, or a lot of it themselves. So you can use all types of different things to kind of put that together, and which can lead to all different types of price points too.
Gotcha.
So we can get you into a hydro system, that would kind of be comparable to like a soil type of grow, for 50, 60 bucks.
Okay. That ain't bad at all.
Not at all.
Craig, I'm gonna be the king of hydro here pretty soon. Well, can we get to another slide?
Yeah.
I'm digging this. Are these, do you have different systems on here? Or what?
Yes.
Oh, I'm loving this stuff.
Yes.
And look at Craig on the 1s and 2s. Shout out to my guy Craig. He usually isn't in that position, but he's killing it tonight. Let's see if he doesn't crap his pants later in the show. Let's see how this goes. Hit us with the second slide, Brian.
You got it, man. So we're looking at deep water culture. Let's talk a little bit about what that is.
So, talking about DIY, right? This is one of the most popular DIY hydro systems that's out there. And this is the way that 9 out of 10 people start off with hydroponics. So, deep water culture is very, very simple. You have a reservoir. And then this is just a lid. So, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. But this is just a reservoir with a lid. Some holes drilled in the lid where the plants would sit in there, and just with an air pump with an air stone sitting in the bottom. So really a lot of people make these at home out of Rubbermaid containers, and then you can just use a simple air pump and air stone. We have those at the store. They're fairly cheap for something like this. I mean, you're talking like $15 for an air pump and $4 in air stones. And
The hell's an air stone?
an air stone is this little guy down here. So
Well, that really explains it. That blue blip on there.
Blue line there.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So what the air stone does is it basically diffuses the air that's coming from the pump.
Okay.
So we're pumping oxygen into the reservoir.
Gotcha.
So, because these roots are always going to be submerged in that nutrient film, or
Little-
in that nutrient solution.
Little root hot tub, if you will.
Exactly.
I like
Exactly.
this. I like this.
Hopefully not over 70, so you don't get pithy.
There you go. That's true. Good
The
call.
whole reservoir is filled up all the way to the roots, to the base of the.
Yes, yes. And they're going to stay in there 24/7. So plants are kind of half human and half fish, right? So they need oxygen in order to live. They need to be able to breathe, especially your roots, right?
Yeah.
But if you can put enough oxygen into that water, they can pull the oxygen out of the water. So we just need to make sure that there's just enough oxygen in that water nutrient solution, and the roots will just stay in there all day long, and that pump just runs 24/7. So this is really kind of one of the easiest and most common DIY hydroponic systems that's out there.
And you could have that in a tub, a little air pump next to it, and probably a couple plants going in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you hearing this, people? Like, this is great. Like, and just the fact that it's economical, and
Yes.
and there's people like you that you can go to and get information. It doesn't seem like that hard. You know?
No. It definitely seems to be way more complicated than what
It,
really
it does. When you
is.
started saying those big words at the beginning of the interview, I'm not going to lie to you. I was intimidated. But now seeing all this, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting how this is working out here, and how it's nature at its best right there.
Yes.
You know, shit, we all came from the water, or so they tell us.
Got a question on the line here. What's the longest you can leave the system running without checking on it? Vacation plans without having someone else checking on it.
So, a lot goes into that one as well. There's generally not a whole lot of cut and dry answers, and I'll tell you guys that right now. But what's the longest that you can leave them? So that's going to depend on the size of your plants, right?
Okay.
So are they in the beginning stages of veg, or are you in your last couple weeks of bloom, right? Are they drinking, a quart a day, or are they drinking 2 gallons a day? What's the size of your reservoir? So all of those factors really go into, how long can you just leave for? There's some hydroponic systems out there that, people will tend to, on a daily basis, once every other day. And then there's other systems that you can set up if you have a big enough reservoir, and come back 7 days, 14 days. So that really just depends on how you set up your system from the beginning. And kind of that's what I'm there at GrowActive for. If you want to come in and say, hey, I want to be able to go on vacation for 7 days, and I want my plants to still be alive when I get back, cool.
We'll
we know
take
what
care
we
of
gotta do. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. No, that's because there are times we're talking about it before the show where growers I know, they work so hard and so long, and if they months can go down the drain from letting a buddy watch it for a weekend, you're like, thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And my dog's peed everywhere. Man, you're a good friend. Take you off my T-Mobile top 5 right now. You got any more questions for the man?
Yeah, let's see what else.
Hit him with the questions. I don't want to be hogging all the questions here. I know the people tune in to ask the expert questions.
If there's time, would love to hear Beau's thoughts on hydro and organic versus non-organic nutrients.
Okay.
I like that.
So I guess if we have time, let's make some time.
We got
Let's
time.
make it.
All right. So my thoughts on organics versus what we call synthetics or salts. So to be 100% honest, I'm the biggest fan of organics in hydroponics. That is how you boost your quality, right? Running compost teas in hydroponic systems is absolutely amazing. Being able to, kind of bring the earth kind of into hydroponics brings so many better flavors, in my opinion.
Okay.
Than what's just straight synthetic or
So is it
salt-based fertilizer.
Is it helping the terpenes? Is that
Yes, absolutely. So, but with that, you are now introducing a whole lot of fungus and bacteria, right, with compost teas into your sterile hydroponic system. The other thing is that you just can't take organic material and leave it sit in water for too long without it starting to grow fungus and bacteria.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where you can really run into some issues by introducing, those things to your sterile system. So there is something to be said about synthetics as well, because they are, they're synthetic. You don't have to worry about, are my nutrients bad now? Does this fungus, introducing something weird into my system? So that's really, it's a lot easier to do a kind of a salt-based hydroponic than it is organic. Now, it's not that it can't be done.
Okay.
Now, one of the reasons why, I guess, if I can just do a product.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right? So that's why I personally love House and Garden Nutrients, because it is really more so than not, it's actually organic. So this is one of the great ways and one of the things that I personally use to make sure that I have great terpenes, in my cannabis when I'm finished. So we're actually some of the products from House and Garden are actually going through organic labeling right now, which is like the Roots Accelerator. There's a product called Bud XL. There's a seaweed product called Allergen Extract. And numerous others that are going through organic labeling. But there is some products that are synthetic. So like your late flower expander, which is shooting powder. In your base nutrient, it's an A and B base nutrient. So A is a lot of your organic material. B is more of like your salt-based material.
Okay.
So with that, this is just a really kind of simple and easy way of kind of doing both, of doing a hybrid of organic and synthetics, and having it very easy to clean and not introducing stuff that you might not know if you're brewing your own compost teas or something like that and introducing it into your hydroponic system. So that's why we personally really.
What's in here? Can you break down what's in this a little bit?
Oh yeah. So as far as like products inside of here.
Yeah, just what do we got going on in this baby? What do the people stand to win here?
So this is what you guys are going to be winning here. So we got base nutrients, which is your Aquaflakes A and B. So this House and Garden works different than a lot of the other nutrients out there. So there is no grow or bloom. You actually use A and B in equal parts all the way through your grow. You just increase them as your plants get bigger. Then from there, You have Roots Accelerator. Push this stuff back.
Oh yeah.
This little guy right here is one of the most powerful rooting products on the market. It's 100% organic, and it's only 1 milliliter per gallon. So 10 drops per gallon of water, and you're going to see your roots just turn into gnarly white cables dangling from this little plant.
Can you ever put too much of this stuff on there? Because it seems like there's something for every, like, oh, the first 10 minutes you got to use this. The next 40 minutes you use it. You know, I mean, like it's so fine-tuned. Can you ever overdo it?
Yes.
Okay.
But they've also made it very simple. So right here, or even on the box, I think somewhere, it tells you just to go onto the App Store. Yep. And download the nutrient calculator. You probably can't see it on the box there. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But they have a nutrient calculator. So you can just download the House and Garden app onto your phone. You put in what base nutrients you're using, how big your reservoir is, and then it will break down exactly what you need to do every single week. Exactly how much of each one of these products without you having to do any math or think about anything. And that's really how it works the best.
Okay.
So, you know, that takes all that guesswork out of that.
And we can get this at GrowActive.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is a nice little package that's going to help you with all aspects of what you got going on.
Oh, yeah. This will run you through a complete cycle. So this is everything to get you from seed or cutting all the way through the end of bloom.
Oh.
So.
Oh, hey, can host of Hoosiers Fizz Kit, Craig, are we allowed to win that?
win?
Are we allowed to win that? Or is that no?
We do have some more
hit 'em.
questions
All right.
and comments here on the line. Let's see here. Going back to the vacations. Not that there are many vacations happening, but I like the positive thinking. That's from Leomar from the Weed Blog. Could you move your hydro system room to room or change the light and timing for each room?
Could you move your system from room to room?
I guess how difficult would it be to, once you have your hydro set up in one room, how difficult is it to
how
move
big
it
it
into
is,
another?
right?
So yeah, it really depends on how big it is. You know, you can basically throw wheels on just about anything, and we can make it move. You know, we have like tray stands for the ebb and flow tables, right? So one of those top trays, we have, you know, stands that you can get, you know, wheels, and you can wheel it all over the place.
Why are you trying to move it around your house, bud? You know what I mean? What's this guy trying to do? He'll be moving it like his mom comes home.
Can you change the light and timing for separate rooms? So I guess could you have, maybe he's asking, can you have one system
One
running
room.
multiple rooms and have different
that makes
lights?
sense.
Like you were talking about maybe having a reservoir outside of the
One reservoir leading to two different rooms at two different cycles?
So
I might be just putting words in that guy's
That's
mouth.
cool. That's a
too.
good
I don't
question.
know.
That's a good question.
that one's a tough one because we don't know exactly what this question means, right?
Interpreting it.
But really, what you would be doing by changing your light cycles would be switching the seasons. So that's how you make a plant grow and stay in its vegetative state. And then you switch your lights to make it bloom and to go into its flowering state. So essentially, you're taking it from 18 hours a day, just like the middle of summer, down to the fall or spring, so in these shorter hours. So bloom is 12 hours a day. So the plants need different nutrients depending on their growing, what stage of growth
Gotcha,
they're in,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then that also dictates how long your lights are on.
Gotcha.
So you
That's
could
tough.
have, say, 2 veg rooms that are getting the same light and the same nutrients, right?
Yeah.
And you can also have 2 bloom rooms,
Right.
but you wouldn't run a veg
bloom and a veg.
bloom off of one single reservoir.
He actually
you're gonna be
clarified that here, said from veg room to flowering room. So I guess that's what, maybe that's what he was asking. Could you have one system running both? I think he answered it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be tricky.
Try it and let us know how it goes. I'm
So
interested in that kind of stuff.
there's different ways that we might be able to do that, but that would take a deeper conversation.
Right on. Let's see here. Mike's got a question I thought was, can you start something hydroponically and then transfer it to soil?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of the cloning machines that are out there are hydroponic cloning machines. And that's probably going to be the next slide after this one.
We got a drip system coming up here.
Oh, hit the next slide.
Well, can we?
Go to the
Oh, we
next
can
slide.
hit whatever slide you want, but yeah, that was the next one in the flow, guys. Don't make me look
I know,
like
we
an
made,
ass.
we made him look like an idiot.
Which one is it? I'm sorry. Wick, NFT, aeroponic.
Aeroponics.
Gotcha.
All right, so all of the big cloners out there that are on the market. So there's a lot of different, there's a couple of different ways that you can take cuttings and propagate your plants. One is just, simple growing medium, cloning gel into some rock wool or some inert medium. But a lot of what you see out there is these hydroponic cloning machines that are really aeroponics. So aeroponics is you have a reservoir and you have a pump in the bottom of that reservoir, and then that pump is actually pumping the water through sprayers, and you're getting the roots a gentle mist.
Okay.
So that's allowing the most amount of oxygen and nutrients and water onto those roots.
Is it constantly spray and mist?
Yes. 9 times out of 10.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So there is a couple of situations where we would put that on a timer.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, that would be spraying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because that spray falling is also helping to aerate that reservoir and keeping those roots moist, because there is zero growing medium and zero buffer in aeroponics. So to go back to the question about, just can you switch? Yes, because a lot of people will be using these aeroponic cloning machines, and they're very easy to make at home too. Rubbermaid container, net pots, and I have some sprayers and a pump at the shop, and you can put one together yourself. Or we sell the actual machines. But yeah, so you can just take these cuttings right out of here and then transplant those roots right into soil. So absolutely, it gets tricky going the other way. So you generally don't want to take a plant from soil and put it into hydroponics, because now you got to wash the roots and you got to do a bunch of stuff. But going from hydro to soil, there's generally not an issue whatsoever.
I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of these different operations they got going here. Does one have any benefits over the rest of them? Like, is this one going to grow the best terped weed over or cannabis over anything else, or do you have a favorite, or is it preference?
It's more speed.
Okay.
So aeroponics right here, this is the fastest. So when I said that your plants will grow 2 to 5 times faster, this is the 5 times faster system. So this is the Ferrari.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, but the DNA, it's still gonna flower at the same rate, right?
Yes.
But you're gonna grow it faster that first part.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
I have put plants that were no more than 6 inches into flowering in an aeroponic system, and have taken them out more than 5 feet tall.
Overnight? No. It's like magic beans,
nights.
baby. 2 nights. 2 nights. We do. Hell yeah. This is a system to do right here.
So
that's amazing.
That would be by the end of their blooming cycle.
Sure.
Right? But generally, the plant stops growing in its 3rd week of flowering. So more or less, that 5 foot of growth came in about 3 weeks' time.
Holy sweet mother.
Yes.
And I guess you can scale this up as much as you want too.
Absolutely.
Kinda
Absolutely.
Reminds me of the grocery store when the sprayers come on the fruit every once in a while. I used to be a kid and be like, yeah, flash dance. You know what I mean? My dad was like, stop doing that. No, but this is nice. Let's go. Can we do another slide?
We got a real quick.
Okay,
got a couple.
questions. Let's hit them with some questions.
Sounds like a
baby.
lot of people use that for cloning techniques and things like that, moving from hydroponic to soil. Can I call you tomorrow about getting set up? How about that? Mike wants to give you a buzz
Absolutely.
tomorrow.
You want to give them some information how to get a hold of you right now?
Yeah, so GrowActive Solutions. You can find us on IG at GrowActive Solutions. I guess I can also just throw out the telephone number too if you want to give me a call, which is 314-899-0179. You can ask for Beau. I'm there 7 days a week. So ready to help.
Yeah.
You can also always email me too, which is Beau, which is BEAU, a little complicated.
Yeah.
Or you can do STL@growactivesolutions.com. So those are a couple easy ways to get a hold of me. But yeah, you can either give me a call, shoot me an email, stop by the shop. Although right now we're doing one person in the shop at a time. So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, you just might have to wait your turn, but come on in.
Question building on aeroponics before we change that slide. Sure. How often do you need to check your pH level with aeroponics?
So, checking your pH is never a bad thing as frequently as you want to do it.
Okay.
Are
there like monitors that will monitor it for you 24/7?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, pH can be tested anywhere from a piece of litmus paper like science class.
I love that shit.
Right? To a shake test kit like a pool. All the way up to meters, monitors.
Gotcha.
And then there's even dosers and stuff like that. But checking your pH on a regular basis is really the best thing, and really just knowing your feed water, so your source water, and your nutrients, because that's also going to play a big part in the stability of your pH. So like here in the city of St. Louis, your pH of the water right out of the tap is high 8s, 9s.
Is that bad?
Yes, that's pretty
bad.
great.
Like for drinking? Are we getting a health lesson here too? Because I don't drink water, and that's the reason why. I've trained my body not to need it. I don't need it. When I drink it, it's weird. Like when I drink it, my body's like, get rid of that. You don't need that.
Definitely. Where's the
But
Kool-Aid in it?
exactly.
Oh man,
Watch
red
the show,
Kool-Aid.
the Kool-Aid. So the water, so you have to do something immediately to St. Louis water.
Well, so it's just very high, and so even nutrients that try to, claim that they are pH balanced, right, might be in another city, but not so much here in St. Louis.
Shit.
So with that, just checking your pH as frequently as you possibly can, no matter what type of hydroponic system you have, is always the best rule of thumb.
Are you starting with regular water, tap water, or are you distilled water? What's the best way to your base water before you put anything else in it?
So, 9 out of 10 people are going to just use tap water.
Okay.
Right? Which is not ideal.
Okay.
But, that's definitely better than going to the grocery store and, lugging jugs and stuff like that. Now, there is different ways that we can filter that water. So, we have simple... the garden hose filters that will help take out chlorine, chloramines, heavy metals, help take that out of the water. Chlorine, if there is any type of organic material, beneficial bacteria or funguses in your nutrients, that's what chlorine is there to do.
Yeah.
It's there to kill that stuff, right? So you're killing what you've just paid for.
Oh, damn.
Right? Chloramines is the same way. Chloramines is a more concentrated form of chlorine that cannot be boiled, bubbled, or even just evaporate out of water. It's there to stay and has to be filtered. And then you can go all the way into reverse osmosis water.
Yeah.
And we have those filters there at the shop as well too. So really getting as much stuff out of your water is the best.
Okay.
And so whatever degree of filtering the water that you want to go to, is what you should do.
Okay.
But most people are going to just be using their tap water.
I mean, is it better to run it through a Brita? I mean, I know it's a dumb question, but just maybe just a one run through a fucking Brita, or
the problem with those filters with those type of filters is that this reservoir can be 15 gallons.
Yeah, that's gonna be
so
tough.
That's a whole lot of
is that pitcher? Is that other pitcher with 3 quarts done again? I gotta fill this thing up. I gotta have cannabis next year. Okay, this is another dumb question, but my mind starts working. What if you took river water? Missouri's filled with clean streams and rivers. Is that a better option? Have you known anybody who's done that, or?
So again,
I'm not talking about the Mississippi. Okay, I wouldn't do that, or the River de Pear, but maybe
we
a
don't know what's in there, so it's not that it can't be done.
Yeah.
But have you gotten a lab test done?
No, I haven't.
Have you know what's present?
I don't
know. Is there?
How hard is it to get a little test done? Say, because I know the city has different water, Jefferson County, all over the state will have different water. Are there easy tests you can get? And do you guys have those maybe that you can test your water?
Yes.
Okay.
So we also have a lab as well. So we do soil and water lab testing as well as pest identification.
Okay.
So we can really kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of the science, which is really fun.
I love that shit, man.
So it really, using outdoor water is just always, you just got to know what you're doing, right?
Okay.
Because, let's be honest here. An animal could, do its
Doo-dooed in
droppings
it.
a little bit upstream.
Yeah.
It could have passed away a little bit upstream, right? And
Oh,
that wasn't
yeah.
there yesterday when you took the water for your test.
But a dead animal, the circle of life, Mufasa.
Absolutely,
Yes,
Simba,
thank you.
Timon,
See,
Pumbaa,
thank you. So maybe we're on to something here. I would
So-
like to do.
It just goes back to that the sterile and knowing what you're introducing to your hydroponic system, because if you contaminate one plant,
You're
gonna
preventing.
contaminate them all.
Yes, and you're
Right.
trying to prevent as much of that crap as you can, as we learned from earlier. Have they done experiments, or have you done experiments like different systems, different batches of water, different kind of like a science fair, when they grow plants? Have you ever grown them all the same but different, or something along those lines?
Absolutely. Oh, I've done my fair share of testing.
Oh, that's fun.
Definitely. So, whether it's different nutrients, different source
Yeah.
water, different lighting, if you can change it, I have tried it.
I love it.
I think they threw a little biography on there at the beginning. I've been doing hydroponics since I was 14 years old. So, I've gotten bored. And I've tried to kill plants. I've tried to do stuff to see, how far can I push them? How much can they endure?
Sure.
Really, what is the return on investment for this and that and, whatever? Because that's also what it comes down to for a lot of home growers, right? A lot of home growers, are seeing stuff out there on the internet that is like, whoa, wow, holy, this is the greatest looking stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And all these, a lot of companies out there want to tell you that they're going to get you, 1 gram more than the next guy. And so what's really
faster too.
Yes. And so what's really the return on investment with that kind of stuff? Because that's really what it comes down to. We could all be spending, $1,000 and grow $1,000 worth of weed, but it's a whole lot better when you can spend $100 and grow $1,000 worth of weed, right? So
I'm not good at math, but that sounds pretty good to me. And it's amazing because being a part of some of the social media groups and seeing what people can do on their own, you can do it, especially with guys like you around. I already feel more confident in growing something now than I did before. And, like I said, I've been consuming for a long time. Growing's a whole different world, and it's fun. It's fun to learn about this stuff. Let's hit them. You want to hit them with another slide?
I'll tell you what, since you were kind of fawning all over him, we got a bunch of comments here. Vernon came in and said, "What up, homies?" Jennifer says, "Beau does know Deadly." Ken Welch says, "Thanks, gents, so much for the discussion. Great info. Thank you for what you do. Good job." Rachel Marie says, "Thanks for the great information. This has been very informative. Thank you very much. I know dirt, but I find this fascinating," says Jennifer Barra. Vernon asks, "Can you use the water conditioner?"
Yes, absolutely. So, water conditioner is a really cool little product that kind of sneaks in underneath the radar. And we do have that at GrowActive as well. We use our good friends at Green Grows. We use their water conditioner. And so water conditioner is just it comes in a bottle of nutrients. It comes in a bottle like this. And it's super concentrated stuff. I want to say, it's been a little bit since I looked at the bottle, but I want to say a teaspoon, so 5 milliliters can treat 10 gallons of water. Right?
So it's potent.
And that'll help also drop the chlorine, chloramines, and some heavy metals out of your water.
Damn.
If you don't, have access or, have the budget for a filter, it's definitely something that's better than nothing. And I think we sell a cheap bottle of it for maybe $15 or something like that. It's a 16-ounce bottle, so that will last you probably about the rest of your life. That stuff goes a really long way, and it is a great way of getting your water into better shape if you're just going to be using tap water. It's definitely a way better way of getting it into shape than opposed to doing nothing.
Man, it really is truly amazing how fine-tuned the market is. And you think, oh man, it's crazy that they've been thinking about growing cannabis like this for so long. Well, people have been thinking about this since people have been eating.
Oh, yes.
Since the dawn of time, they've known, when the first Americans came here, the Native Americans were like, I don't want to get into that whole thing, but the Native Americans were like, hey, you got to put some fish in the dirt because here it doesn't grow that well unless you put some fish. And they're like, oh, crap. Here's these blankets as a thank you. Like I said, I don't want to get into that whole thing right now. I won't get into it. But it's amazing the amount of science that has gone into it. Did you go to school or anything for this?
I did. So a little bit.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I took hydroponics in high school, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't raise any questions? They didn't raise a red eye, maybe?
No. So I wasn't always the best kid. And so
Okay.
Mom sent me to live with Dad, and Dad lived down in like the country, down like near the beaches in Delaware. So I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
And so when I got down there, it was definitely a culture shock. The gang down at the Delaware beach was like, these guys with big knobby tires on their trucks and smokestacks, and they were like the gang at school, right? They all were in 4-H and stuff.
Shut up, dude.
And so I got there late in the year, and when I, had to pick like my elective classes, the only thing that was left was turf management, flower arranging, and hydroponics.
That's an easy choice.
So I got to take those classes as my electives, the teacher was 22, right out of college, and I listened to every word she said, and it was the greatest decision I ever made.
How about, were you interested in cannabis at the time?
No, I was not.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no. So
You just thought that shit was interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was really cool.
Did you get a big truck?
No, I did not.
You never got one big
no,
every time? Okay.
No, I still want that big truck. I probably just first started smoking cannabis maybe, 6 months before that.
Really?
And didn't really make that connection yet. You
Yeah.
know, that the seed that was in this bag could actually turn into a plant. I was just kind of a nerd and enjoyed helping my grandma in the garden growing up and stuff like that. And so it was just interesting, and it was the only class left, right? So if I wanted to graduate, I had to go.
You're like, flower arrangement, sweet, I'll work at a funeral. God dang it, work at a funeral home. Even though turf management, some of the fields that high schools are getting now that are hundreds and thousands of dollars, that might have been not a bad racket either.
Not a bad deal.
Everything's
There's a
turf
company
now.
in between Hillsborough and Festus that's what they do.
That's what they do,
They just
yeah.
they do fields for
Yeah,
high
I've
schools.
driven by there.
Going
Questions?
back to a couple more questions here. Vernon asked, chloramine or chlorine bound with ammonia?
Whoa, one more time. That was
Chloramine or chlorine bound with ammonia? Maybe that was maybe that was the water conditioner he was talking about. Let's move to the next one. Can you use RO water and then add nutrients?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is RO water for people like me?
So just back to that first question. I just don't know what in context of what.
He had just asked about the water conditioner, so maybe it was a follow up to that. I'm not sure. Are those the same thing? I don't know.
Okay, so it does.
I'm a big dumb animal.
I'm not sure about the chlorine with ammonia, but it does help drop chloramines.
Okay.
So I can definitely check, and if you want to call me tomorrow, 314-899-0179, I will definitely get back to you about that one.
Sweet. That's good enough.
All right. How about we find what's the next slide you want to go to here, bud?
So we were at.
Well, I'll tell you, we haven't
gotta
done
do top drip.
top drip.
Top
Gotcha.
drip. Top shot, top drip.
Yes.
Drip system. Oh,
So
yeah.
these, this was kind of what I was holding on to for kind of last, because this is really, truly one of the most common that you're seeing today out there. So this is basically an ebb and flow system. So if you remember the first slide that we did, the ebb and flow system, it had the tray, and then it had the reservoir underneath. So this just adapts that, and it doesn't fill the whole tray with water, watering everything in it. What this does is this pumps the water up this hose and into a manifold. And that manifold runs little feeder hoses off to your individual plants. So there's a couple companies out there that are making these systems really popular, and they actually work very well. They work well from anybody who's growing 1 to 4 plants all the way up to, this is how a lot of guys are doing commercial hydroponics in these, big facilities, is with top drip systems.
What's this filler here? What's in here?
So, ideally, you would probably, people at home, right, and growers, we would be using containers. So we would have these plants in a little bit of medium. Generally, it's a cocoa core medium, so a coconut husk medium, or rock wool.
Okay.
Rock wool is like this shredded rock material. It's kind of like insulation, but it is different. And so they would be, growing in those blocks, and they would just be sitting in this tray. That there would not be anything in the actual tray itself.
Okay.
So the nice thing about these systems is that, this big reservoir of nutrients down here, when you were doing, ebb and flow systems back, or still, or, back in the day, you would need a 40-gallon reservoir for a 4x4 tray. Damn. So most people have a 4x4, or thereabout grow tent that they're setting up, and that's the number one, size that people are going with and stuff like that. So you would have a tray that was that size, but you would need to be filling 40 gallons of water to take care of that tray to last for the week. Damn. If it even lasted for that week, depending on how much they're drinking. Right?
Yeah.
So what a lot of guys did is they adapted it to a top drip system. So that 40 gallons does not need to fill this entire tray. It just needs to water these plants. So you're able to do a lot more plants with a lot less water. And that, you can really do a 4x4 tray maybe with 15 gallons of water a week with a top drip system, or 20 gallons of water a week, rather than having so much, waste at the end of the week.
So these are being held up by some sort of system you got holding up your lines.
Yeah, they're just these little clips.
Yeah. Then do you want them dripping more towards your roots, or do you want them dripping down your plant, or do you
just right on top of the roots.
Just right on top of the roots? Okay.
So there's some different ways that you can set that up.
So you don't even need them to hit your plants at all?
No, you just have it going right into the roots.
Do you ever want to get weed plants wet? That's kind of off topic, but like a mist of your weed. You do?
Yeah.
That's good? Okay.
Absolutely. There's some great foliar sprays out there.
Okay.
Also, anybody who's going through like some calcium deficiencies, which is a very, very, big deficiency out there, plants intake calcium through their leaves much easier than it does through their roots. So if you're having a calcium deficiency, start foliar spraying that CalMag. Stop feeding it to your roots. Well, don't stop feeding it to your roots, but also foliar spray it.
Gotcha.
So
trying to imitate rain is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Definitely. So there's some great stuff out there for what we call IPM, integrated pest management.
Okay.
So it's more of a preventative way of dealing with pests.
Okay.
So rather than waiting until you have something that's eating your plant, you can use a very very light organic type of like deterrent, not a pesticide. You can use a pest deterrent. And a lot of those are foliar sprayed on. And so that will help just keep them away.
Get those little bugs.
Clearing up for Vernon, because he's clearly far more intelligent than me. He was just making a statement saying that the water conditioners, chloramine, are chlorine bound with ammonia, and so that water softener should break that up, is what he was saying. So just wanted to shout him out. Hey, he made me look like an idiot. And then Tina's like, I get you. I'm a fish nerd. This is my language. Well, I'm not a fish nerd. I don't know how to grow anything. Could you just use buckets with drain lines on the bottom?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all different ways of setting up these drip systems. Also depending on what type of medium that you're using. So that's kind of the cool thing too, is that hydroponics now has become this whole other world. These used to be like the only systems that there were. And then now, because everybody's doing it at home and so many more people are getting to do it now, weekend here in Missouri, right?
Yeah.
So people are starting to like kind of, lump these systems together and just do hybrid systems. So definitely.
This is awesome. Like, that's what I'm talking
Everybody
about.
is geeked out on the line, and I'm learning.
You can mix them and shit, and then see which one works the best. Like, I mean,
Definitely. So, like, another version of this system is that you just have these manifolds that would be feeding your plants, just running. Just picture like a pipe on the floor.
Yes.
Right? And
With
then
a hole.
these manifolds would come up out of that pipe, and then you can have those go into your soil plants. Or into your 5-gallon or 10-gallon container of coconut coir. So you don't have to do it in these trays. You can do it any way that you want to. It's just understanding the fundamentals of hydroponics.
Yes.
And then being able to adapt them to what you want. Which again went back to my very first thing I said, is that when we're picking out a hydro system, it all depends on you and the plants that you want to grow. We can make a hydro system for everybody in every situation, with any type of ailments or medical conditions, anything. We can do all of that. We just need to know them, and then we can just then I can just go to my little whatever, draw it up, and just be like, hey, this is how we're gonna do it.
That's awesome.
You can't bend over and lift up a 5-gallon bucket of water. Cool, we can take care of that.
That's awesome, because that's the I think one of the best parts about it, how unique you can get with your system and how you can fine tune it to exactly who you are.
Yes.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you like growing indicas? Do you like growing sativas? Right? Do you grow a lot of short bushy plants, or do you grow giant old
Full
sativas?
bush.
Right? So again, it's. How do you do things? How do you want to do this?
I want to do it all. I want to do it all, Beau. Help me do it all.
I can do that.
I think before we jump to the next slide, we should go to a quick 1-minute word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back to the next slide that you want to talk about. You guys,
Do you want to show him the video we made for him? Is that what we're doing?
One word from our sponsors. Yeah, just our
Okay,
main
well,
sponsor.
we're gonna get Beau's reaction because we made him just a dynamite video, because that's kind of what we do.
Put a lot of time into it, a lot of effort.
That's what we do. We build high quality. We create content for people, and we wanted to, we appreciate you coming out here so much to the studios and putting on a clinic, a legit
awesome.
clinic for us.
real.
So we wanted to say thank you the best way we know how, which is through song.
Hey, DJ Shabba.
Hey ladies,
I'm gonna smoke a little weed, boy.
I wanna grow some trees, boy,
When I grow all the weed that I smoke,
and I blow all the trees that he grows,
and I smoke all the weed that I grow.
and I grow all the trees that he smokes.
Well, I'm growing and I'm smoking,
So I go see Beau,
and I'm smoke what I grow, yeah.
GrowActive solution.
And I'm growing the hydro,
Beau knows hydro.
and I'm growing the hydro.
GrowActive solutions.
Beau no hydro. Beau no hydro. Beau no hydro. Beau know how to grow. Beau know how to grow.
GrowActive solution.
Beau know how to grow.
GrowActive solution.
Thoughts?
Can we run this as a commercial?
Thank you very much.
That is Can I get it pumped to the speakers at the shop 24/7?
It's a banger.
Craig, shut it down.
Certified banger, bro.
It's definitely a banger.
You're the nicest gentleman I've ever met in my life. Let's hit him with these last couple slides, and then maybe we'll do a quick game at the end. These people probably want to.
We do have a quick game. They for what he's given us.
I know.
They can give him 2 minutes
I
of
know.
his time. I will say that there are a bunch of people here with some questions. We won't get too far in the weeds. People, we're producing this for you. You're not running the show.
Yeah, hit them with questions, though. They
Let's
deserve
see. Great info from Dan Taylor. Depends on how big your reservoir is. Home Depot buckets with hole drills in the bottom. That's the way I'm going. Is what this guy said. How about you just go to Beau and have him get you all set
Beau
up?
knows hydro.
I would think there are pH adjusting chemicals to raise or lower, and a pH test kit. Oh, that was in reply to someone asking how hard is it to monitor pH throughout the grow.
Yeah, no, not hard at all.
It's probably phone apps now, I'm sure. Like my
If
buddies.
you want to pay for that technology,
I got some buddies that are like, yeah, I can see my plants whenever I want and check it all, and I'm
creepy,
like,
man.
but
awesome.
there's just a simple meter and then some pH up and pH down. That is literally what they are called.
Do you want it at 7?
So for hydroponics, you want them more at about 5.8. That's about the ideal range for hydroponics.
Little bassy.
Yep.
Okay.
All about that bass.
You play music for your plants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do the plants get spongly?
Oh my God, the best. These are going to be the best plants.
Me and Beau are going to get along just great. Beau, tell us a little bit about nutrient film technique.
So, nutrient film. So, I wanted to go over these real quick, guys, with you, because these are systems that are out there in the world. Now, generally, these aren't used to grow cannabis. So, I brought 2 slides, just to show off these systems because, hell, you might want to grow some strawberries with a nutrient film technique. So, nutrient film technique basically is, well, you have a channel or like a pipe that the plants sit in, and then you have a pump in the reservoir. So you got the reservoir down here.
Sure.
Right? And so you just pump water up to one end of that pipe, and you have it on a slight tilt. So then that water just travels down that tube, just gravity fed, just passing over those roots, and you just a very light trickle, like, not a lot of water at all. Yeah. Really, ideally, an NFT system, a nutrient film technique system, really does not have any return water to the reservoir. When you really have it dialed in, you get like 1 drop out the other end. Because everything else is going to be absorbing it. So this is really the way that probably 95%, if not higher than that, of all the lettuce that you eat is grown. Is NFT systems. Strawberries are also grown a lot in NFT systems.
Is this bastard going to soak most of it up, or if when you got it good, they all get it?
Yeah. When you got it good, they all get it.
Okay.
And so
he looks like a greedy little bastard right there. He looks greedy.
And also with that, you're also, these are some smaller plants, right? So lettuce, again, you're not talking about growing something like a tomato, right? So they don't have that giant root mass and stuff like that. Sure.
So, that's cool.
So, and it's just about just getting that flow right, where, again, so this guy's not being greedy and eating it all up. That this guy down here
he gets
that
all,
couple drops as well.
He's, maybe he needs it. I don't know. I don't know his whole story. You know what I mean? But this is great, though, using gravity and just using and finding out what's your angle of your dangle. You know what I mean? Like, it's so exciting to be a part of this world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like, you can really, like, this system, you can make it home. Rubbermaid, container, and then this is like, couple-inch PVC pipes. You just drill holes in the top, and then you put them on the tilt on some sawhorses. You're done.
Oh, I've seen
There's an NFT system, and then you're growing strawberries all summer long.
That's brilliant, and I thought it was nice freaking terps, dude.
Nice freaking terps, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
Vernon says, what did he say here?
Tell Vern to let somebody else
Vernon's liking it. Hey, Heath Robinson loved NFT for his stadium grows, he said. So
nice. Yeah, absolutely.
What's a stadium grow?
I don't know. Help me out.
So I'm going to guess what he's talking about.
Like a stadium?
Yeah, so you can kind of go vertically, right? And kind of go down on a
step
tilt.
Down, yeah.
So what a lot of guys will do is, build like racks or like out of like cinder blocks.
Gotcha.
And then they'll have pipes sitting on those different levels of the cinder blocks, and then you can just pump it up, and then you can even connect those together and have them the water just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Just cascading down all those.
It's like landscaping in your backyard with the waterfalls and shit. Like I'm amazed at all this stuff. All right, what's our last slide here?
The last one is probably the wick system.
Yep, there it is.
Right. So this one, basically nobody does anymore.
I just wanted to let you know it exists.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to let you know it exists because this is a lot more people are actually more common, like know about this system than what they know about. So this is a what they call like a passive system. So there's no moving parts. You're not pumping water from the reservoir up to the tray. You're using wicks to just bring the moisture from the reservoir up into the growing medium.
Yeah.
So with that, some people may have seen like, I know my grandma used to do it sometimes when she would start to like take cuttings, right, and she would put them just like into a glass of water.
Yep.
Sometimes it would be a little bit too much, or she would put like some of like this like packing around them just to make sure that they're all just staying moist and stuff. So that's one way that a wick system's done. Also, like how I said about you're making hybrid systems. A deep water culture as I said earlier, is one of the most common ways of building a hydroponic DIY at home. Where it's just you just have a reservoir and the plants are sitting in that reservoir with an air stone in the bottom.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people want to know when they're first starting off, how do I bring that water level up, or what's too much for those little plants? And so a wick system is the greatest way to do that.
Okay.
So you can just have a wick coming out of your net cup where you would have your rock wool cube that you started your seed or your cutting in, right? And then you just have that wick making contact with that rock wool cube, and now we'll be bringing up enough moisture to your roots while your plants are establishing that root system and growing down into that reservoir of water. And then you don't have to worry about raising the level of your water or cutting off their oxygen supply. The wick system is a way of kind of bridging that gap and getting you an established root system for your deep water culture system.
Amazing. I mean, I'm blown away at the amount of different ways humanity has figured out how to grow
plants. Is ancient.
Yeah, because you don't have dirt everywhere that you can grow in.
No.
This is a game changer.
And there's hieroglyphics in Egypt of plants growing in water and not soil. Right, you got the hanging gardens of Babylon.
Yeah.
You have the floating forest of the Aztecs, or that's kind of like a whole rainforest that's growing in a hydroponic system. That's crazy. If you don't know about that, look it up, people.
I have no idea.
Super cool.
Well, it's been amazing. Have we answered everybody's question on the line, Craig? How long we've been doing this?
Well, I'll tell you what, we are an hour and a half in. Everybody's holding
like
in strong,
minutes.
dude. I know. I feel like I have learned so much, and like I was saying before, like for a lot of people, this is kind of intimidating. The idea of growing is intimidating, whether or not they've got the discipline to do it. But really, when you break down the systems, that is pretty simple. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, most people, what messes them up the most is thinking too much about it and overcomplicating them.
Oh, sure. Before you came here, I thought hydroponics. I've seen it once, and it looked like a lot was going on. But when you break it down to, oh no, it's plants, roots, and preventative measures to make sure you don't have any calamities along the way, and you still might have some, but at least you're preventing most of them. It's nature running its damn self, man.
Definitely.
You want to talk a little bit about this?
Oh, so the cup hunters. I guess a couple things we could talk about.
Yeah, segue in here.
So
we'll go all night long with this guy. We haven't even got into the good stuff.
House and Garden Nutrients, again, they're the ones who gave us the starter pack to give out to you guys. They're great friends of ours, have been for many, many, many years. And so they wanted to give us this prize pack to give out to you guys. The Cup Hunters also are helping out with next week's prize pack.
Okay.
And so the Cup Hunters, though, is a group of, cultivators, gardeners, farmers, who hunt for cannabis cups using the House and Garden nutrient line. So there's a small group of us, all over the country, and, it's actually starting to be kind of all over the world.
Hell yeah.
And so it's just, we know how great this stuff is, and the quality of House and Garden bud is really unlike any other. Like, there's, I don't know. I know guys back in the day that used to be the stamp of approval. Like, is this House and Garden quality? And if it wasn't, they didn't even want to touch it. And so, So, there's a lot of really cool guys and ladies that are House and Garden cup hunters. A couple of them that I can kind of think off the top of my head. Exotic Mike, if anybody knows his line, he uses House and Garden nutrients. Who else we got? Love in Her Eyes. She's also one of the House and Garden cup hunters.
Okay.
These are all people you can find on IG and stuff like that. There's Moose Valley Farms. There's Run THC. There's a whole bunch of us. that just rock house and garden and try and go out there and win some cannabis cups, and
do pretty good.
They usually win.
I'm into that, man. That sounds like a cool club to be a part of, if you ask me. I mean, and then what's cool is seeing, we've heard so many rumors of Midwest cannabis cups and things that I never, ever thought that I'd ever see in my lifetime. Now we're having these conversations. You got a store helping people daily grow medicine that we're actively watch heal a 3-year-old little girl who has brain cancer, which I think the FDA just passed something about using cannabis oil for brain cancer, which it's like, I don't need permission to save my own life. We're going to try it anyway. So with help from guys like you and even ridiculous shows like this and getting the word out, and Ricky Starling and Nate and Evolution Magazine and all the sponsors.
KC Weed Blog, the Weed Blog. We got
KC Weed Blog, JT Money. Like he's killing it.
Happy
he's showing
Rock
us
Farms.
how to
There's been, guys, there's been so many people. Yeah, thanks so much to Evolution.
Yes.
Evolution has been cultivating a cool little community.
Yeah.
And I got to say, out of all, I mean, what I used to be unsure of whether or not I can do, now I'm like, you're almost foolish not to do it.
Sure.
It's awesome, man.
Sure, man.
It's awesome, especially being able to grow at home now. I mean, even now we're planting a huge garden in our yard anyway because we want to do it, but I'd love to have a little. Real quick, this might not be hydroponics 101, but what about like the systems where like the fish swim throughout and they eat off all of aquaponics, man? You know anything about that?
Definitely. So aquaponics, basically, short answer is take the nutrients out of your hydroponic system and throw some fish in there. And
I love it.
That's aquaponics.
It's wild.
So what we're doing is we're using the fish to then fertilize the plants. So I used to help out a university back in Pennsylvania. It's called Cheney University, and they used to grow 10 football field-sized greenhouses of aquaponic basil.
Okay.
So it's really, really
What kind of fish they use? Goldfish?
tilapia.
Yeah, usually tilapia because they're
Yep.
bottom feeders, right? Like little toilet fish.
Yeah, and there's also, I mean, you can really get as complex as you really want to with aquaponics. I mean, I know I've met guys that like, oh man, they have different pools of different types of ecological systems, and they have like crabs over here that are filtering this and other, other fish.
I got seahorses in this one over here. I'm calling it seahorse weed over here.
Not my chair, not my problem. That's what I
said. One
said.
of those, each one of those
systems
or creatures that you're introducing, right, is going to bring on a whole different, possibility of nutrition for the plant, or some of those also will feed off of the waste and possibly turn it into then usable for the plant as well.
Whole new symbiosis,
So
man.
cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
It is neat.
So I was going to ask though, real quick, because we did talk about cannabis competitions.
Yeah.
Could I real quickly?
You can
plug?
say whatever
You can do anything you want,
please.
bud.
Yes.
So, just so you guys know, when they were talking about cannabis competitions, at GrowActive Solutions, we actually did the first Missouri Home Grow Bowl. This was back on January 4th. It was part of like our grand opening, and we did the first cannabis competition here in the state. All the home growers turned in their best buds that they were growing up until that point. We brought in judges from 6 different states, and we judged them, and we had a great time doing it.
Who won?
Can
we say?
One was actually this the gentleman named the Canaminator. You can find him on IG too. He throws down some pretty good stuff with his Purple City Punch.
Cannabinator. I love it.
Line coming out soon too. So he was our first champion. But here coming up pretty soon. May 23rd, I want to say. We're doing the next cannabis competition, which is called the Immaculate Seed Cultivation Classic. So we're also good friends with the guys over at Immaculate Seeds, which they are a Missouri-based cannabis seed bank.
Okay.
And so what they did is they gave out 2 mystery genetics. So 5 seeds of 2 different strains. They gave them out back in like January, February, and everybody had from then until May 14th to grow and to then turn in those genetics. After that, we're going to have them lab tested for THC and terpenes. And then we're going to crown our next champ for the Immaculate Seed Cultivation Classic. So actually on Saturday, at GrowActive, we'll be doing a live stream with Immaculate Seeds. And we'll be doing the cultivar announcement. So nobody knows the genetics that we've given them to grow. Right, so all the competitors are growing 2 different genetics that they have no clue. So we're gonna finally tell them what they've been growing on Saturday.
Oh, that is so cool.
And then again, we're gonna have the Cultivation Classic on May 23rd, which will also be a live streaming event. So everybody here in Mo can tune in, and hopefully
What time
get
is
you
that?
Guys. So we do everything at the appropriate time, which is 4:20.
We have Hoosier Prom that day. I'm not sure. I was just thinking May 23rd.
We'll figure something.
We'll figure something out.
Okay.
We got a big. I missed my prom. I got canceled.
He's not missing the second prom.
My second prom, buddy. So we got we don't know how the weird things are gonna work out, but no, that's
We'll get Cinderella to the dance.
pumpkin. I'm in that pumpkin, baby.
It's not far. It's a
not at all.
hop, skip, and a jump.
No, that's awesome. Do you know how we win this, or is that what Clay's gonna take care of that? Do you know?
I think Clay's going to take
Yeah,
care
I
of
think
that.
Clay-
If not, Clay is taking care of that.
Clay is
now.
taking
Yeah,
care of this.
guess what,
figure out how
Clay?
to get this to the people.
Get to work, fella. Because we haven't told anybody what to do to win this awesome kit.
No, we haven't. Oh wait, hold on. He gave
Hang on,
me.
look at the script.
I'm
Yep,
just
I am.
saying
Look
at the
they're
script,
telling
damn
you
it.
how to
You
get
see?
it, and
Hold on. He said post-show script suggestions. Any last questions from the audience? Thanks, Clay. Beau,
Hang on, Steve. Hang on, real quick. Can you give me that again?
Hey, Clay. Hey, any more questions from the audience? Is there? And then I already took care of this. Beau,
All you got to do is like and share the video and tag. I don't know.
Oh, here it is on my thing. In order to enter the drawing, all you have to do is like and share this video and tag GrowActive Solutions in the video.
There you go.
Share. So one more time, like and share this video and tag GrowActive Solutions when you're sharing it. That means you put at GrowActive Solutions. If you want me to spell it out for you, I will. Am I getting condescending? I apologize. It's that St. Louis thing, a little passive aggressive. I had to get on it. Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure to join us next Thursday as we go back to Happy Rock Farms in Kansas City with owner Jason Davis, taking the reins to teach us trust your experience, how following your intuition and having self-confidence leads to satisfaction in home cultivation. See what happens when you write words for me, Clay? See what happens? Remember that. Even though I really appreciate this, because I probably should have looked it over a few times.
He said he
before the
can't
show.
wait to write the next script.
That's hilarious. He's working on it now.
A bunch of people are interested in aquaponics now. I'm putting your nutrient business out of business there, bud.
hey, that's all right.
Hold on, can I show
I
him?
don't care how you grow. I don't care what you're growing, as long as you're growing.
It's only that you grow. Awesome. Hey, listen, we got a.
Can I show him these too?
Yes, you should.
Oh,
you
thank you.
should. You shall.
All right, so follow our YouTube channel. This was all broadcast on YouTube too, so you can watch it on the Mycelial Media YouTube channel.
Yep.
If you subscribe, you're gonna possibly win one of these. Anyone who's subscribed or new subscriber will be put in a drawing probably next Monday or the Monday after to win a kind pen, a chillum, and a bottle of native hemp CBD. And we couldn't do anything we do without Sweet Leaf.
No doubt.
And they've helped us raise $2,000 for Aubrey Strong Fast Foster Adoption Support Team.
Oh, they're awesome down there at Sweetly.
Dude, I love them. So they gave us these two things to give away. I got the guy's name who blew these. I'll get them.
The sacred geometry is off the
you
chain,
can-
blown
I mean,
inside of
that's
there. It's not
unreal.
doing it justice in the camera.
That thing's pretty sweet. And then I got this one here, which this was my favorite piece in the store. And Jason really knows how to take a hint because I'm like, I really like that one. That one's pretty cool.
And that one's
this
got the
thing-
little weed leaf blown in it. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome.
So,
glassware.
and you know what? We'll give these away with GrowActive. We'll do a like and share with you guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
We'll make this a part of it. We usually try to raise, $1, $5 for
We
an
ask
entry.
people to nominate charities.
Yeah.
We'll have a few people nominate charities, and we'll give all the proceeds to someone that deserves it.
That's
So.
what we do. That's what we do. You're part of the club now, baby. Get ready to help some people.
I
you son
can't
of a
wait. I
bitch.
can't wait to get a little spangle with old Beau. We're gonna have a good old time.
Yeah, we are gonna have cotillions. Gonna get real weird. We're gonna do some good stuff.
Oh, wait a second. Brian Clark is the artist of those pieces.
Brian
Thank
Clark,
you, Billy
thank you.
Joe, for letting us know that.
She texted me before.
The YouTube channel, Tina, is Mycelial Media, like the Mycelial Network, mushrooms, MYCELIAL Media on YouTube. All you got to do is subscribe and you're in the drawing. Guys, I had a lot of fun.
I did.
It
Thank
looks
you
like
so much.
everybody is exciting. Looks like everybody's excited about trying to get this set up. People are going to be calling you tomorrow. Even your wife said, I'm ready to try this. So it sounds like you guys might be getting in the game. You guys are in the game. That's awesome.
We'll go deeper next time, too, into Hydroponics 102. I'm going to go over a little bit more maintenance. You know what I mean? And just dig a little bit deeper.
No doubt.
Just scratch the absolute, not even surface. All right, we're just taking the plastic wrap off at the moment. So,
I love it, man.
That's
we'll
awesome.
Go a little bit deeper next time as well.
Yeah, we got a game show for you to play too, because Beau knows grow and Beau knows hydro.
Yep.
Are we gonna do that right now?
You want to do it now?
Let's do three questions.
Three questions. Let's do it.
This is called
Beau
Beau
knows
Knows Grow.
Beau knows
Beau knows
hydro.
But does Beau know bonobos?
Okay.
Do you know anything
Does
about
Beau know
bonobo?
bonobos? Well, let's just find
I
out,
know
folks.
Bonobo the artist.
I'm not. Some of these bonobos
right,
are.
here
So
we
here's
go.
a bonobo quiz.
Okay.
Which country is the only place in the world where wild bonobos are found? Is it Gabon, the Democratic Republic of Congo, United Republic of Tanzania, or Zambia? Zambia.
Tamu?
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 I'm gonna go with the Congo. Probably wrong.
He's right. I already know because I am an authority on bonobo culture.
Give him two more. Give him two
All right,
more.
here we go. Which of the following species are great apes? You got to tell us all the correct answers. Gorilla, bonobo, human, baboon.
What do you got to pick?
Gorilla and human.
Gorilla and human.
No, we're not a grade 8.
Okay. No human? All right.
I think.
Steve, you got any guesses?
I think you go bonobo and gorilla. I'm not sure about those goddamn baboons.
I don't think baboons are.
Okay.
Let's do
No, I
gorilla.
think we are a grade 8.
I
Okay.
think we're a primate. We're
All right. No bonobos?
bonobos are really close to us.
They are.
Yeah.
But are they a grade 8?
Everything but a baboon. Everything but a baboon.
Everything but a baboon?
Yeah.
Are you good with
This
that, Beau?
isn't
This is his
bonobo.
story.
This isn't bonobo.
This is his
trivia.
game. Damn it.
What's your final answer?
I'll go, we'll go bonobo.
All right, teamwork. That's fucking teamwork. Baboons are old world monkeys. They separated from the apes 25 million years ago. Just
Thank you. I thought
you
so.
guys
They
know
don't.
on that.
They don't fall in line. Last question.
Last question. Maybe one of the best. Bonobo society is matriarchal.
True.
Dun dun dun. Basically,
Wow.
the men only. Bonos grow. Bonos hydro. And guess what? Beau knows
Bonobos.
bonobos.
Why aren't we saying it together? Why are you leaving me?
Because I was trying to get the fucking camera on.
I know, Jesus Christ.
Oh, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. And I'd even say it's been real fun. It's certainly been super informative.
Definitely.
I've had a heck of a
Thank you
time.
very
much.
Let's do this thing
Yeah,
again
thank
real
you.
soon.
We're gonna have you back. And when's our next episode? Tune in next week.
I'm not sure, but
4
if you
weeks.
guys, there is an event series set up through Evolution Magazine. You can set reminders so that you can watch the show next week from the west side of the state.
Support the sponsors. Everybody who
Support
sponsors
everybody
this
that
thing.
makes this stuff happen because I
Yep.
think everybody just got really encouraged to grow, and I know I feel better about my ability to do it.
Yep.
So,
Give them your number and information maybe one more time so they can see it at the end here.
no doubt.
Cool. So I'm Beau Bradley of GrowActive Solutions. You can call the shop at 314-899-0179, or you can reach me at Beau, which is BEAU, the beginning of beautiful, at GrowActiveSolutions.com. That's my email. Feel free to hit me up anytime.
Is it short for Beauregard?
It is not.
Okay, never
It
mind.
is not.
That would
Okay.
have been really cool. Been a lot,
Thank you,
lot
guys.
cooler if it was.
Yeah.
You get to say Beau like BEAU like beautiful. I say Kohler like the toilet. So
That's his last name. He's a human toilet.
that's my German roots. What can I say, guys? We made it. Hey Clay, we made it this far without making a toilet joke. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, you know it's one, Clay.
All right, guys, tune in next week. We'll see y'all later.